What's up, everybody? I'm Matt Gary, and in this episode of Coding with the Force, we're going to go over what Apex actually is and when you should use it on the Salesforce platform. Alright guys, so today we are going to go over what Apex actually is and when you as a developer or an administrator should potentially choose to use it when creating custom functionality in your Salesforce orgs. So the first thing I'm going to do is just read from you straight from Salesforce's own docs what they describe Apex as, and then I'm going to break this down in a lot simpler way that's, at least in my opinion, considerably less confusing. So let's get this started. Salesforce describes Apex as a strongly typed object-oriented programming language that allows developers to execute flow and transaction control statements on the Lightning Platform server in conjunction with calls to the Lightning Platform API using syntax that looks like Java and acts like database stored procedures. Apex enables developers to add business logic to most system events, including button clicks, blah, 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 blah. And it doesn't get less confusing the further you go down. And, to me, or a more seasoned developer that's maybe coming into the platform, this description makes sense. But to the average person, I think, that's going to look up what Apex code is, this is pretty confusing. What is a strongly typed language? What is an object-oriented programming language? What are execution flow and transaction control statements? Potentially what is Java? What are database stored procedures? Blah, blah, blah. Right? There's a lot of things here that are a little bit confusing if you're just trying to figure out what this is in general. How do I even leverage it, right? So let's figure it out. Basically, what Apex is a proprietary development language. So a development language that Salesforce created specifically for its platform that looks and feels a lot like Java. Not JavaScript, by the way. Those are two different languages. Java, which is an extremely popular language, and it is true. It looks a lot like Java. And it kind of resembles C# in a lot of ways too. So Apex is a programming language designed for the Salesforce platform that is only used on the Salesforce platform, and it looks and acts a lot like Java. And what it allows you to do as a developer or potentially an administrator is build custom functionality that Salesforce's out-of-the-box point-and-click tools cannot support or are unable to do in one way or another. So, at a high level, that's really all it is. It's just a language that allows you to build custom functionality on the platform to be able to basically extend the platform to be able to do whatever you or your users dream up for your Salesforce instance, right? The sky is really the limit with Apex. So the next thing that you are probably wondering about, now that we have a general understanding of what Apex is what does it mean for Apex to be a strongly typed object-oriented programming language, right? That's a bunch of words that in all likelihood many people watching this video don't understand or don't know. So let's figure it out together by looking at an example. So I'm over here in my Salesforce org now, and what I am going to do next is open up the developer console so that we can go over an example together. Now, before I open the developer console, I just want to state I would not suggest actually using the developer console to do development. I would suggest using Visual Studio Code or IntelliJ. They are what are called IDEs, and I have videos going over how to set them up and how to use them. It'll take you about 20 minutes of your life, and it's much easier to do development in those. But that's not what we're focusing on here, and I just want to get you introduced to this whole concept of Apex and Apex development. So for now, I'm just going to open up the developer console. But if you want to check out those videos, I'll link them above and below in the description, so you can check them out if you want to. All right, so I've opened the developer console, and I am going to open an existing Apex class. Oh boy, there you go. That I have already built, called the Opportunity Calculator. All right, so the Opportunity Calculator is basically, as we can kind of infer here, a representation of a calculator for opportunities in our org, right? If you were to think of a physical calculator, you would think it has an add values, subtract values. Maybe it has, of course, it has divide, multiply, all those kind of things. So you can see that this opportunity calculator object has what are referred to as methods to add values and subtract values. And this at a very high level is what we mean by object-oriented programming. We are basically creating a representation of an object and the many methods that make up, how that object interacts with its users or whatever else, right? There is a whole lot more to unravel with object-oriented programming, and in future videos we're going to go over all of it. But if you want to get started before I make them or on your own free time, the 4 things you need to really understand with object-oriented programming, I'm not going to go into detail in this video, are encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. So I will put a video in the description that goes over those things so that you can get started on them if you want to know more about them. And again, I will create videos later on to go more in depth about them. But yeah, for now, let's just stick with this high-level understanding to keep this video simple, and in later ones we'll go over those in a lot more detail. So at a high level, object-oriented programming is an object representation, a representation of an object and its functionality in code. As far as what they mean by a strongly typed language, this one is pretty simple, but it takes a minute to understand, especially if you haven't been introduced to a non-strongly typed language. So up here I have 2 variables. Basically, a variable is a way to store a value or represent a value in your code. And there will be another video that goes over this in more detail. But as you can see, when I create this variable up here called number value, and I set that equal to 1, I'm declaring it as an integer, which is a way to declare a number in Apex, or in a lot of development languages, not just Apex. But I'm having to declare it as type integer, right? If I just declared number value like this, Apex won't accept this. If I tried to save it, it's going to give me a problem, and it's going to say unexpected token, which is very unhelpful to someone without a lot of experience. But it's basically expecting me to tell it what type of value I'm trying to store. Additionally, it's asking me, it's going to want me to tell it what type of value I want to return from these methods if I want to return something, right? So you can see here when I'm declaring my method, another video will go over exactly what methods are and how to declare them, a bunch of other stuff. But right here we're saying when my method is all done executing and all the logic is done in it, I'm going to return to you an integer, right? In other programming languages that are not strongly typed, you don't have to declare these things. So for instance, JavaScript, if you're developing a Lightning Web Component, you wouldn't have to declare these things. You just kind of say number value equals 1, op name equals cool, and you don't ever really define a return value in JavaScript either. So that's what they mean by strongly typed language. You have to tell it what it intends to return and what your variable types are and all that kind of stuff. Now, as far as when you should actually use Apex, this is a little subjective and a little not subjective. But basically, you're going to find a bunch of you're going to find yourself in a bunch of situations where out of the box Salesforce point and click stuff just does not work well with what your users actually need to be able to do their job, right? And when that ends up being the case, that is when you're typically going to use Apex. So it is very important as a developer on the Salesforce platform or an admin that you know all of the administrative capabilities, right? You know how to create new objects and fields on those objects, validation rules, flows, etc., etc. You need to know how to do those things because you need to be able to make the correct call as to when it's appropriate to use administrative tools and when it's more appropriate to use custom development. But basically, you're going to be in two scenarios that are going to warrant Apex development. And that's when those out-of-the-box point-and-click tools just simply don't support what you're trying to build for your users. And when your org scales to a point where it's really big and there's lots of users, I typically say around the 500 user mark, sometimes those point-and-click tools can't handle the volume of the transactions that your users are making every day. And at that point, it's worth looking into potentially writing some Apex code. Yeah, so I think that about sums this up. We went over what Apex is, generally speaking. We talked about what it means to be a strongly typed object-oriented language, and we talked about when you should most likely use it. So if you like this video, make sure to subscribe, actually hit the like button below, and hit the bell for updates, because this is just one video in a series of introductory Apex videos that I plan to make over the next several months. So if you're new to Apex development, stick around. There will be around 100 more videos in this series, and by the end of it, you should hopefully have an excellent understanding of what Apex actually is and what you can achieve with it. So that's it for today. I will see you guys next time.